Thank you, Berlin, Germany. Every time we go into a game, you guys give me a lot of volume and love, and it is very appreciated. And as soon as we're onto the Rift, Vitality are already heavily invading. They've moved 4 members all the way forward into the blue buff, but now they're split up. Nukeduck and Kold didn't quite see if they spot him on the way out.
Yeah, this is something you'll see a lot with Olaf paired alongside a very strong top lane champion. You try to split the map early on and invoke vertical jungling. That's why you see this deep ward. But Origen, maybe they want to try to do something against it. It is very difficult though, because Olaf at level 1 can reset his axes and duel just about anyone.
Yeah. And that just makes it very difficult to win any of those fights, especially when you've got 2 supports at level 1. While they can
Look what
be
they're
powerful,
doing, though. They're actually sitting their AD and support in mid lane for so long. They have teleport on Sona. They're really trying to force him away.
All right, so really defending their jungle. Do you like this decision-making? And of course, the cost is Attila is left alone in lane. He's going to get a couple autos and start shoving.
But here's the thing. You're not actually losing anything because the lane should push into you. But look at this. This play from Attila is actually really smart, I think. Okay, maybe he's going to turn it around. But we used to see back in the day when lane swaps were popular, you would walk forward and try to pull the minion wave in towards the bush. And what this would do is you would get the minions on the enemy side to bunch up and focus fire your front line and push back into you. That's what I thought he was going to do. Instead, they end up just pushing it out and trying to put some more pressure down.
I also anticipated Patrik and Mithy be a little slower to the bot lane, so actually they haven't missed any of the experience, and they're going to start farming up. Just one of those CS has been missed for now. Sona, Tahm, Kench, while it is a slightly different flavor to Sona Taric, we've seen the Relic Shield. We anticipate Mithy to start picking up some of those CS using the charge as early as possible, but what's the tempo of this duo and when we expect them to start turning around the aggression?
Look, it's going to be very slow for a long time, but not with Mowgli. He saw Kold pathing down towards the bottom side. I want to get our eyes back on him because he's forcing Kold away from the red buff. Both junglers do have smite, and both bot lanes are coming, but look, Jactroll and Attila have hit level 2. Mithy and Patrik have not done that.
No, definitely not. So that small advantage in pushing the wave maybe does give them that temporary advantage. By the way, Kold's pretty low. He's going to get the smite onto the Krug. So now Mowgli's coming in. Undertow's available. Big exchange at the moment. Fighting inside the Krug camp. Patrick's coming back. Mowgli, what is this decision? He's going to flash over the wall. Eats a power cord on the way out, and that was absolutely not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Mowgli's decision-making for a while there, and then as soon as he goes in towards the Krug camp and sees Kold get that, you just gotta leave, man, because there's nothing else left for you there. Mithy and Patrik had hit level 2, the mid lane wasn't being pushed in as hard, so ends up forcing away his flash and will cost him later on.
Yeah, it really did. As we flash to the top lane, Cabochard goes into hammer form, jumps to the skies, puts the hammer down on Alphari and shoves him in. Small CS advantage as Alphari is catching a very large minion wave underneath his tower. And as it stands, even start, but it was Vitality making the first proactive moves, and again Cabo stepping forward, popping the Scryer's Bloom and just getting some additional vision.
Yeah, you know, Cabochard does have priority in this lane, but he went for a very interesting rune choice. Now, I was trying to check and see, are people taking Unsealed Spellbook on Jayce? I really haven't been able to. You know, there's a lot of Kleptomancy, summon area in the top lane if you want to harass against some of these melee matchups, as Mowgli forces Kold away and will get that Scuttle Crab, but this is either a mistake from him or a very different idea, and what the Spellbook would allow you to do is switch over to something like an Ignite if you do want to have kill pressure around certain thresholds. So if Mowgli did want to set up for a gank in the next few minutes, you know, Cabochard could switch that TP over to Ignite and have a little bit more all-in performance.
I actually quite like that because Cabochard is sort of the tip of the spear when you think of Vitality. It's sort of him or Jiizuké that tends to be the defining member of their wins. So if you add that additional versatility to arguably your best player, and then on a champion that can define the early to mid game, you know, it can work, assuming that was the reasons for it. As we catch comes down bottom, Mithy and Patrik being shoved in.
Yeah, they are, and this is what you expect in the matchup, with Sivir just pushing in and Patrik just trying to pick up as much Kleptomancy procs as he possibly can. Now, I do think it's worth bringing up the mid lane matchup, because we talked a little bit in Champ Select about this Camille in the mid lane, but not actually in this game. And what you'll see a lot from Camille is pre-first base, you get pushed in, especially by any sort of ranged champion like this Azir. That would happen. As soon as that first base comes in, especially once you get the Tiamat, you can all of a sudden start pushing in this mid lane. And why Camille has such a high impact in games as a mid laner is because her early game scrapping and skirmishing is very powerful. It means you have a very high ability to find these 2v2s and control the river and try to fight for crabs.
Oh, Mowgli's got no flash, remember. He's going to get jumped on. He's going to get caught. Yes, you got the scuttle earlier, but that is not a safe space to recall.
And what did I say? You can't control the river against a Sejuani plus a Camille. It's absolutely deadly. Now Jiizuké has to dash away because he knows knows Nukeduck and Kold are both in the area. And what we're going to continue to see from this duo is Kold to play very close to the mid lane to allow Nukeduck to apply pressure and push out. And then once level 6s come in, you see a Sejuani or Camille appear on your screen and you're by yourself, you will instantly die if you're on Vitality.
Just think of all the mobility they've got in the kit, all the hard CC, and then the damage to follow it up.
Yeah, and to be clear, like this Camille does fall behind in CS early on, but it is the price you're willing to pay for that level 6 point when you can really try to find fights and snowball your advantage.
Yeah, it's a calculated loss because you totally understand, like we mentioned, those little exchanges in the river. So Jiizuké now will have Mowgli pop up behind him, and he has built up a 17 CS lead. Nukeduck could be able to farm himself under the tower now. But Origen, as it stands, they were gifted that kill. They were gifted the flash from Mowgli earlier. And despite Mowgli power farming, I have to question the decision-making.
Yeah, the early invade was an unfortunate one, I think, for Vitality, especially because you expect Mowgli to play aggressive, and it was such a good play for him at the start. But, you know, we said the flash was going to cost him. It did end up doing that in the end, and you see he still does have a lead up against Kold. You know, the gold maybe not going to say that entirely because of the first blood that did go Kold's way, but he still is able to apply pressure and invade, especially on the top side. He'll always be able to pressure top side because of how strong Cabochard is in these fights. See here, the tracking on towards Mowgli. Oh, he's just recalling there. Kold sees him, and you actually had Nukeduck trying to recall as well. This is just a greedy recall from Mowgli.
The Nukeduck recall maybe is what set it off. I think if there had been some comms to say Nukeduck is backed, he's recalling, that then is a little overconfident. But seeing those level of plays, Nukeduck, by the way, stepping way, way forward, takes a lot of damage. He realizes Jiizuké has no mana, so there's no possible turnaround. And of course, Kold is waiting in the wings.
So Nukeduck is really greeting to try and get his Tiamat finished. He has 1,100 gold at the moment. He needs 1,325, and he's not going to get it.
No, not yet. The undertows come out. Jiizuké being so low on mana. Yes, Nukeduck was greeting, but there was a calculated amount because Jiizuké would have needed multiple autos to get the kill.
Exactly, but he needed the whole wave in order to finish off that Tiamat. Now that's going to make it more difficult for him to push out the lane and to be able to apply pressure alongside Kold.
Is a 30 CS deficit too much? That is the lead that Jiizuké has accrued for himself right now. And you can see it starting to show in those items, as you mentioned, the thrift shopping on that Tiamat, and nearly 400 gold the difference.
I think that at this moment, it is too much, just because Nukeduck did not get that Tiamat, as we see bot lane.
All right, see what happens. Patrik doesn't have access to the crescendo. Mithy's trying to get the Devour down. There's a gobble, gobble, gobble. Flash away from Attila. Jactroll is going to be in trouble. The Cosmic Radiance comes down. That's a little bit of a damage mitigation. But here comes Mowgli. He's Ragnarocking and Ragnarolling. Your Mithy jumps on a Jactroll. So far, it's the first kill for Vitality. Patrik and Mithy running for their lives. That's a defensive flash. Jactroll's very, very low, and the heals from Patrik are doing work.
Yeah, Patrik has heals, but he doesn't have the damage to try and turn it around. Origen tried to throw everything towards this duo of Vitality, but Mowgli was waiting. Now he gets chunked.
Oh, he does indeed. A couple orders from Attila, as well as that undertow. Not going to be enough to pick up the kill, and Patrik getting close to crescendo. Jactroll and Mowgli going back away. Vitality on the board of the kill.
Yep, they're able to respond right there. Mowgli is all of a sudden back in the game, using this Olaf to flash and pick up his axes to continue the fight on towards Kold right there. See Patrik actually really trying to step up and cancel that recall, but he's not going to find any luck.
And of course, it's important to note that the effective gold in the duos is in the advantage of Origen. You can see those CS numbers. When you add both of them together, it's around plus 500 gold to Origen, and this is how the exchange started.
Yeah, so Attila steps very far forward and gets hit by the tongue lash. This means Origen are going to call in the play, but watch when the Cosmic Radiance comes down here from Taric. It's enough so that when he flashes away, he can't avoid it. Now mid!
Oh, there's the exchange. Jiizuké's already used the Emperor's Divide, and with the help of Cabochard, that's the second kill for Vitality. They take the lead as far as gold is concerned. Kold is pushed away, and we didn't see the setup.
It's the MVP of Vitality, Cabochard, using that pressure and translating it into something else around the map. You can see he's not smashing his 1v1 matchup. It's a 5 CS lead, and he's sacrificing that so he can move down and get Jiizuké ahead.
Man, it's such a unique game to cast because at 10 minutes, Vitality have turned this small mistakes from Mowgli around. They're up 1,000 gold. CS advantage is gigantic for Jiizuké in the mid lane, but technically Patrik and Mithy with their duo and their double support items, they're actually ahead in gold. And we're going to see that kill in the mid lane. I mean, Nukeduck he just went for the exchange and got shoved back.
Yeah, Cabochard was on the way. You see 3 control wards lining that river so that Cabochard can make that move down without being seen by anyone. I mean, Nukeduck probably thought he was just going for a reset, did not expect this Jayce just suddenly show up in the mid lane. Jayce of all people has no CC, you know, no hard CC really on that kit to try and set up for that gank, but he made it work.
Well, this is a good position if you are Vitality. Getting your sort of late game carry of Azir into a very comfortable position, despite the fact that Attila and Jactroll did, you know, struggle a little bit as far as the early stages. They're falling behind in gold, as I mentioned. 97 CS, starting to work towards those first items. Attila's going to be very confident and comfortable moving into the team fight phase, which is where Vitality can be a terrifying beast if any of those skirmishes and fights break out.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when we talk team fights, usually with Sona Taric in the game, they're on the same team, and you always give it to the Sona Taric because they can't die. Sona has all the time in the world to give off heals, but I don't think the same is true when you're paired with a Tahm Kench necessarily. You don't have that extra duration of the Cosmic Radiance to fight. Now Mowgli wants in.
He does indeed get so much damage onto Alphari. 2-level difference, but just wrecking him with those reckless swings.
Yeah, and the best part is he's up there while Cabochard is under tower going for the recall. So you can see Vitality very aggressive as individual players.
Oh man, Cosmic Radiance used here defensively. Patrik and Mithy once again chasing all the way forward. There is some support from Nukeduck coming down, and Jactroll is flashless, and he will get taken out. The kill, is it going to get saved? No, donated to Patrik. Very easy 2v2. And all the training against Uzi does not seem to have helped just yet.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing here for Vitality. It is, again, their bottom lane that plagues them in that 2v2. After getting put ahead from a counter gank by Mowgli, they just go down and die, not having the flashes, not being able to survive. Fortunately for them, Vitality do always play towards topside, so Mowgli is able to respond with a Herald.
It's going to be so interesting to see how the mid game plays out. If this Sona Tahm Kench advantage will be enough to mitigate the Jayce Azir advantage that's been set up.
So what actually happens here? Oh, it's just a crescendo, stopping the stun from landing by Jactroll, and even though he does get down the Cosmic Radiance, he's still CC'd, he's still eaten, so he's not able to actually escape during the duration of that ult.
Man, it's insane. Just the more time that passes, the more scary this duo becomes. While that's going on, there was a battle for the Scuttle Crab. In the Smite fight, it was Kold that ended up winning. Jiizuké ends up using those conquering sands to slide away to safety. And Vitality, despite a minor gold lead, it's just, it's a shifting of power, as we've said so many times already. Top half for Vitality so far, bottom half for OG, but the one concern I did have, before the 2v2 happened, Alphari got wrecked.
Look at this play bot lane. Mithy goes in with Patrik.
Oh man, here comes Nukeduck. He's got the Hextech ultimatum. That will dodge the stun, but at what cost? Manages to get the shield up for now. There's the kill onto Attila. Just a matter of time as now Jactroll is running for his life. Alphari completed the teleport. Will get himself a couple autos. There's a Mountain Drake available. While that is being focused, Cabochard takes the first tower. So they're trading kills for map objectives. Patrik and Mithy will defend mid.
Yeah, this is what we expected from these two teams. Vitality putting all their resources in towards Cabochard in the top lane, while OG go mid.
Wow, there's Jiizuké running a little bit low on mana. He's got himself a few Sand Soldiers to work with. Can he send them forward? Defensive flash from Patrik, and Cabochard can't really find the shots to make it work. Cabo's teleports on TP as well. I didn't see if he TP'd him behind the tower, but it's starting to get very scrappy and fights multiple sides of the map, multiple objectives.
Yeah, Kold gonna go ahead and pick up the Mountain Drake, and while that engagement was going down in towards the mid lane, I think all in all it was very good set play there from Origen to use that Abyssal Voyage to come in from behind here, and you can see it wasn't actually Mithy and Patrik, it was Mithy plus Kold, so it's the hard CC of the Sejuani. Jactroll and Attila run face first in towards the Camille, who uses her ultimatum to dodge the CC from the Taric. That means once that goes down, there's nothing they can do to try and battle back against 5 members of OG jumping on 2.
Yeah, definitely not going to work out in their favor, and that means OG, they're 4 kills up. They've got a Mountain Drake under their name right now and continuing to push. I mean, this Camille, now you're starting to see the strengths. Fallen behind, I was starting to get nervous. 40 CS deficit, which is still just about on the cards, is still a scary, sight. But the impact in those smaller skirmishes when backed up by Sona and Tahm Kench is really, really powerful.
Yeah, the thing I am a little concerned about for Origen is that they don't have much range when it comes to their team fight damage later on. They have a Sona, and that's just about it. So I think mid-game fights are where they really want to try and play explosively and use this hard engage to find, split fights and maybe single out some individual members. But the later we go into this game, the more worried I I think, for them.
All right, let's see if it's going to be more worrying for Origen or not. Mowgli's going to get caught by the tongue lash, uses the ultimate to try to escape. Teleport starting to be channeled. Jiizuké should be arriving shortly. Emperor's Divide is just about available. Gets caught by the
Oh no!
Anything can happen. Patrik pulls the trigger, gets himself an easy kill. And OG go 5 kills up.
Jiizuké was trying to go in there for the hero play for the highlight reel, and OG just slapped him 3 times in the face and knocked him down.
The question is, how do OG win this game as they push forward?
More kills.
Another poor place on the recall, and I don't know if I should be hypercritical or just sad as Mowgli's the victim again.
At that point, he's behind his tower, he's in his jungle. Now Vitality trying to find something, but it's 3v4.
Yeah, it is 3v4. Cosmic Radiance will buy some time, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Jactroll goes golden for now. Cabochard pushes all the way forward in the hammer form. The Devour is so well timed from Mithy. That keeps Patrik alive. Cabo goes golden for a second, but counter golden. All of the stopwatches are being used, and when time will stop, it will be Origen that win the fight.
Vitality just cannot kill Patrik. This man is immortal. Look at him, he's got his stopwatch, he got a Tahm Kench, you can't stop him.
Patrik and Mithy are playing this duo fantastically. 3-0-3 on the Sona, and they are doing everything right.
Oh, they absolutely are, and they just need to keep pushing the pedal to the metal here. You know, usually you think of Origen as the more calm, calculated team. You know, they set up for maybe a little bit later in the game. No. They decided they're going to go hard and heavy. They go for the Camille in the mid lane. Patrik now on the Sona is 3-0-3. They have all the CC. Just throw it at Vitality and try to knock them out early.
And I'm going to go back to the question. How do Origen win this game? You don't have a traditional tower pusher. Obviously, you've got the split pusher in Camille. That's one option. But it's definitely a non-standard type of comp when it comes to getting past inhibitors and then the Nexus.
Yeah, it's a combination of now, once Reno approaching the 20-minute mark, using Camille more in a side lane with their teleport, and just grouping up death balling and finding fights. You have so many key ultimates, they're going to go for another.
Well, there's your death ball example. It's going to be enough to push Jiizuké away. Abyssal Voyage used. It's not the hugest of cooldowns, but it is technically a failed engage. It's going to be just under 2 minutes before Mithy can use that one again. And I'm looking at flashes other than Mithy. There's a lot of flashless targets that are available to pick actually on both sides of the rift because of this, the constant skirmishing.
And it's way more worrisome for Vitality not to have summoners than it is for Origen to be missing them, because they have a lot of defensive tools. They're the ones that are also going to be wanting to play on the aggressive. You know, they're the ones that will, you know, trap you inside a Cataclysm. They will catch you out with their crescendo, and you won't be able to react to anything if you don't have that flash. So Vitality have to be very cautious, and I think have to put very forward vision as well to spot out the engages from Origen before it's too late.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're Jiizuké, you absolutely want that to happen, right? There was an example of him teleporting down a few moments ago, getting caught by the crescendo, and just getting done. So we're getting to 20 minutes. It is still an incredibly close game. 1,000 gold separates these teams. Cabochard on this Jayce. He's got the Black Cleaver, Ghostblade completed. He's up 30 CS. Maybe he can be the pressure tool that Vitality can leverage while the recalls are completing here on the side of Origen. Nukeduck again playing very far forward. He's clawed his way back into the game. And once this game wraps up, we'll see Rogue versus Misfits.
Yeah, I think now looking at Vitality, you know, they are not down that much. It's only about 800 gold, and this is a team that I don't think likes to sit on their hands. They don't like to take things slowly necessarily, especially when a team starts to beat them just a little bit. So when we see Origen trying to group up and force 5v5s, I almost half expect Vitality to try and do the same, to try to match them, which, you know, wouldn't end up benefiting them in a game like this with a composition like this until they can get a few more items to come online. Because, you know, later on, you know, 2-3 items here on the Sivir and the Azir especially, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage from range that Origen will not be able to match.
Yeah, and I guess if the sort of wombo of Cataclysm, Hextech Ultimatum, Crescendo, if that doesn't find targets, the consistent damage from Azir, Sivir, Jayce is going to be very, very hard to deal with. Now, admittedly, every time Origen have pulled the trigger, they found the kills. So, all credit to them. This tower secured by Nukeduck will even it up at 2 towers apiece. While that was happening, Vitality secured themselves that Cloud Drake. Cabochard doing pretty well at just pushing in these waves again.
So the main benefit Origen have right now is that they win team fights and they win 1-3-1. You might say, well, Jayce is actually beating Alphari down bottom lane, and that is technically true, but because Origen have such a strong core, you know, Patrik, Mithy plus Kold, as well as that Abyssal Voyage, they can push up and then make plays.
Yeah, just like that. Initial fissure comes out, a lot of damage, but Cosmic Radiance, once again, Jactroll's been very good with those Cosmic Radiances every single time, securing the important members, timing it correctly, not waiting to pull the trigger, but it's used defensively and running away.
Yeah, they do get Jiizuké's flash right there, and this is a very smart play from Origen, because the next thing they need to tick on the box to winning the game is knocking down this mid lane outer turret. This gives so much safety and control over Vitality's own jungle that if they can keep it up, they can really stop OG from trying to find these aggressive plays inside their half of the map.
And we have to keep an eye on the teleports, because not only do you mention unlocking the map, but there's 3 teleports currently on the side of Origen. Spellbook for Mithy, so he can pick one up if necessary. 3 currently on the side of Vitality, and Cabo sitting with a cleanse for now. Obviously, he can cycle through those summoner spells thanks to his own spellbook. But the Baron dance has begun, and for the first time in a little while, Origen are pushing some vision into Vitality's territory, as the observers are highlighting right now. There was a line of defensive pink wards for OG on the northern quadrant of the map there by their blue buff, and they're slowly starting to etch that just a little further forward if they want to play around any of those objectives in the next few minutes.
And all Origen want to do is play around objectives and play around fights. What is causing them a little bit of they're getting them a little discomfort, there you go, is not having this mid lane tower down. Yeah. Because again, they don't have the siege tools. You have 4 melee champions and a Sona. That's not necessarily the best when it comes to sieging. And
you can almost argue it comes down to the 40 CS advantage that Jiizuké was able to accrue. You know, he was able to farm himself up to a pretty comfortable spot. By the way, if we're looking at itemization, Patrik on this Sona has got himself the Lichbane after Archangels, and he, with the help of Mithy, will just about take this tower down. One more power chord will do it. Here comes Vitality, defensive flash. That was greeting for the tower, but it might just be worth it. Cataclysm will get interrupted by the Emperor's Divide, but there's just not enough survivability. Jactroll's Cosmic Radiance was unavailable.
Oh, get back in here!
Jiizuké, get back here!
Patrik with the triple kill. Baron is spawned. We're just 22 minutes into the game, but it was the 5v5 around the mid lane that Origen used to blow it wide open.
Ain't nobody escaping Origen's baby cage, and after 4 kills, they turn to Baron.
Oh, it just falls apart like that for Vitality. Origen get everything. They even send Nukeduck to take a tower down in the mid lane as well. The team fight came to fruition, and they pulled it off.
And you said it 5 minutes ago. Vitality need vision to prevent the Origen engage. And unfortunately, even if they had that vision, it didn't matter. I can't wait to see the replay. I want to look at where the wards are, because OG just found their opening. They got the tower, the Baron, and a huge advantage.
Yeah, now sitting at a 6,000 gold lead as well. The Mountain Drake too to help out with the sieges. You know, this is when they really want to split up the map, because again, with 5 people, you could look for a dive. I think that might be getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but if you can send Nukeduck and Alphari to side lanes with that Baron buff, the siege should not actually be that difficult.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, Baron plus all the kills in the tower, the gold lead jumps to 5,000. I want to look at the minimap of this vision. Oh, once we get
we got a fun little camera angle to start off. See, it was actually Vitality that walked in first. You know, Jactroll flashed forward with the stun, but then you see, oh, that's Sivir. Attila tries to get into this cage. They use the wall very well, but unfortunately, it is not enough. Origen have enough damage, have the CC to chase them down and then pull them back over the wall. Jiizuké not going to be happy about that one.
I went back to check as well. Origen's pathing through the river was in between the control ward and the deep wards, so a number of Origen members just snuck up towards that mid lane tower.
Look at this!
And they got there quicker than Vitality could expect. Cabochard will go down, Cosmic Radiance will land up to Jiizuké. Now he's in a 1v3. Crescendo catches him out. Mowgli's going to arrive. Attila's going to get teleported on top, and it is all falling apart. Vitality are trying to chase the loss, trying to turn the game around, and it is simply not happening.
Look at them go! They're not going to stop!
Simply too far. And as I was mentioning, Vitality made the call, maybe with some misinformation, and as it stands, Origen 16 kills to 3, but in the most Origen way. Look at all of the kills and assists. 12 out of 16, 13 out of 16, 10 out of 16. Every single member of OG is involved in most of their kills.
Yeah, and they're involved in all areas of the map too, because while the rest of OG is chasing down for the extra kills, Alphari TP'd into a wave that Nukeduck had prepped in the bottom lane. Before Nukeduck TP'd into that fight, then Alphari picks it up, gets that inhibitor, the rest of OG is top lane, so they're just systematically taking Vitality apart.
And Origen come back to the LEC after being crushed by G2 in the Spring Split Finals. The 2 finalist teams making very big statements to start their Summer Split campaigns. Inhibitor in the top will fall after the one in the bottom. And Origen can now start to back away. It is a different style of team comp, but it has been executed very well in the Origen camp.
Yeah, I don't think Origen want to recall. They have one more minute with the Baron buff. They're looking to end it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Crescendo is available. Hextech Ultimatum's a couple seconds away. And Cataclysm will be used if necessary. The tower's going to fall, but with that Lich Bane, as well as, you know, Camille just hammering away, plus Jarvan as well. These structures fall so quickly. They're not done yet, and I think we're in for the final siege.
Yeah, OG are setting up for it. They have 3 different mini waves coming in. That's the crescendo.
There's no Cosmic Radiance. There's no get out of jail free button. Jiizuké forced to flash defensively. Hextech Ultimatum locks in members of Vitality. So far it's a 1-for-1. Taric for Camille. That is a very good trade. But the rest of OG, they take down the first Nexus turret. Jiizuké takes a chunk and he tries to turn it around.
Vitality were sustaining on the Fountain, but OG were sustaining with their Sona as well, so they're going to keep it going for quite a while. Jiizuké trying to push back in there, because if Vitality were going to win a fight, that was their best chance before Origen had gotten back to base and bought. But with the last seconds of the Baron buff going away, Origen have taken all 3 inhibitors.
5,739 gold Baron power play. That is exceptionally good use of the buff. And it is just moments away from the game. And I was trying to say beforehand, the 2 teams that made finals, they are coming into summer showing they're prepared, they are ready, and they are not messing around.
No, they're not. And if you would be as kind to direct your attention to Patrick's itemization after we see the damage dealt over the entire game, you might notice that that's a 906 Sona with a death cap, a fully stacked Seraph, you got a Lich Bane as well. You hurt.
It really does. And I mean, and again,
Attila.
Here comes Mithy
buddy.
and Kold. I mean, that's a Tahm, Kench, Sejuani running down Sivir. Edge Essence Reaver simply doesn't matter. Mowgli, no flash available. Woohoo! That damage! Eating the power cord.
I'm telling you,
Patrik.
he hurts.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. The moment Patrik fired that spell away, turned and burned, and Mowgli drops.
I mean, Patrick's doing that much damage with just a harp. I don't even know how that happens, but look at him go.
There we go. Flash crescendo. Patrick's playing with a confidence that is beautiful to see. 17 kills already involved out of his team's 20. Kill participation through the roof for Origen. 11 kills to Patrik as the last Nexus turret is being focused down by Alphari. Jiizuké is just toying with Origen right now. And the ace for Patrik and Origen. They take down